Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Liam, and today I'm going to do a video. Might take about 10 minutes, but it'll be worth it. A video, the theme of which was inspired by a client call that I had yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, I do client calls, I have courses, I help people with tinnitus. I'm the best in the world at it. I am. If you look at my testimonials, you look at the proof, you look at all the people, all the ages, all the genders, all the locations, all the causes, all the severity, all the time it's tonight, blah blah blah. All, you know the drill, right? You're bored of me saying it by now. I know what I'm doing, and I'm very good at it. So I usually talk about do this, eat this, don't eat that, fast this way. Oh, you got tinnitus from that? Try this. You have a dental. It goes on and on and on. I take time to actually listen to my clients and devise a custom plan, but sometimes it's hard to get them to follow it. And the reason for that is the title of this video, which is Cyclical Panic. So the thing with tinnitus is, and I've said this before, is, and bear with me here, anyone can deal with tinnitus and sort of shrug it off. Oh, if you know when it's going to end. So let's say you get tinnitus, right? And you go into a doctor's office and they go, oh, we're going to refer you to an ENT, and they give you an audiogram and all that nonsense. And they say, okay, we're looking at these numbers here and these measurements, and we took your bloods and so on and so forth. And, I'm an otolaryngologist, I'm so smart, We can tell you that your tinnitus will go away in 14 days. I make the comparison of an OBGYN who can have a woman come in and they go, okay, your due date is September 13th. And they can almost get it with pristine accuracy. These people are amazing at what they do. So let's imagine that, your ENT could do that, right? Even if your tinnitus was insanely severe, you could still deal with it for 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months. Yes, it would mess with your sleep. Yes, you would hate it, but you wouldn't have that panic associated with the unknown. And I think one of the major problems with tinnitus comes with the idea that it's permanent. So you start thinking, well, maybe it's for life, and maybe I'll have it forever. And I saw on the internet that I typed in that tinnitus was due to, stereocilia being broken in the high spectrum of hearing, and there's nothing you can do. And the brain hates gaps in noise, so it fills it in with phantom noise, and that's tinnitus. And because you can't regrow hair cells, it's going to be permanent, and it goes on and on and on. And so people get this it's interesting how the mind works. People get this cyclical panic. So they'll come to me, they'll see what I'm talking about, they'll see that it works, and they'll go, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to do this, or free advice, whatever, it's totally fine, do what you want to do. And they'll have a problem with application. They'll have, not as if they don't know what to do or, or whatever. The problem is that they really just scare themselves. And you start thinking, oh, this tinnitus is so bad. Or how long is it going to last? I'll look on the internet. Oh my God, it's going to last forever. No, maybe I'm different. Or maybe I'm different in a bad way. And you keep going through this thing again and again and again and again. And it's almost like a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. And, this is something that veterans go through. This is something that victims of abuse go through, and so on and so on. People who see horrible things in their life, or maybe on the internet, who knows. It's not dissimilar to having tinnitus, because tinnitus is quite traumatic. Let's be quite frank. It's not over the top to say that tinnitus is scary, debilitating, and can leave you in a very panic-stricken way, okay? And something that I've seen people do when it comes to PTSD. By the way, if you look at Sean Baker and Anthony Shafee, they're showing that a lot of PTSD is, wouldn't you know it, you can change your diet and fix it. I had a girl the other day who's been following my advice for like a month or 2 or 3 months or something. I think it's a month and a half. And her anxiety's gone. Her periods, she used to have very painful periods, and now that, they're gone. It's just like, a regular sort of healthy period every month. It's fantastic. And most of it's due to dietary change. Because if you keep putting this shit in your body, if you keep eating like a whole bunch of carbs and sugar and coffee and tea and tap water and blah, 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 all this sort of crap that you believe is good for you, which it isn't, like quinoa and couscous and all that shit. If you see anyone say, this supplement is a superfood, or it just they're trying to sell you something, they don't genuinely care about, your situation, and they want to make a buck. It's fine making money, but don't give false promises. That's unacceptable. It's like these tinnitus supplements you see, which I won't name. Some of these supplements, you can go on websites and track how much money some of these companies make who sell these bullshit tinnitus supplements. They make tens of millions a year. It's crazy. And they prey on desperation, and they prey on these people who are scared. So let's get back to cyclical panic, because the client that motivated me to make this video, very nice guy, yesterday. So I spoke to him 6 months ago, and I gave him a plan. He was in a bad place mentally. I said, look, go speak to a therapist. Therapy's great, by the way. Talk therapy, as long as the therapist doesn't say, well, let's help you cope with tinnitus for the rest of your life. Because their heart is probably in the right place, but who the fuck wants to hear that? Who wants to hear, let's help you habituate? That's scary. That is very scary. And so that comes back to like cyclical. Okay, no, we'll talk about this guy. So first time I spoke to him was a month ago. We spoke again yesterday, and I was like, how have you been going with everything? And he goes, I haven't applied anything. And I'm like, okay. And you would think, well, that's weird, because he does believe it'll work. He did apply it for, I think, 3 weeks, and he was getting better, but then he fell off, which is okay. And you would think, well, if it's so bad and it's so debilitating, you would think that people would just apply what's working for them and what they believe to work. Well, the human brain is a crazy thing, and it's not that simple. And panic can set in, and you can go, what about this? What if I'm different? What if it doesn't work? I'll try and apply it. It goes again and again and again and around in all these circles, and you freak yourself out and you start panicking. And eventually it leaves you in this sort of state. And Julian Cohen-Hill talks about this, and he really, it's very illuminating, his information, and I agree with it, where when someone is scared or they're panicked, they come into a state of fight, flight, but there's a third one, freeze. And so I think that when people have tinnitus and they're really scared and they're really worried, some people handle it differently to others. Life experiences, genetics, support group, those sorts of things, right? Age plays a role too. People just tend to shut down, and they don't do anything, and applying things are scary, and it's very, very troublesome. And to get around this, there's a couple of things that I've seen people do in the area of PTSD. The first thing is you change your diet and you cut out the coffee and the tea and things like that. But in order to stop thinking about the tinnitus and when it started and is it going to be for life, and I'm so scared and I can't habituate and what should I do, and I'm going to check the internet and they said it's forever and I can't do anything about it and I'm so scared and it goes on and on and on. And it is very scary. Changing your diet, a talk therapist is amazing. They're really good. Don't listen to those stupid people who say talk therapy is bad. They're idiots. They're, alpha male, this, fuck off. Idiots. The internet's full of retards. But the third thing is actually journaling. So writing down what happened and why it happened. So you can really get clear about, okay, that's in the past, that's what happened. Talking to someone like myself, giving yourself an actionable plan. Because I do see it where people will, more often than not, it's not uncommon, people will get in a cyclical sort of fear, they'll start to panic, and they just won't apply anything. And it's not because they're a bad person, it's not because they're not strong-minded, it's nothing ridiculous like that. It's just, they're in a bad place and they need help. The human brain, and I've had a really interesting glimpse into this, is fascinating. Let me give you another example. I have many clients, not an insignificant amount of clients, who, will buy my course, and other people who won't buy it, and I'll just go, I'll try to free advice or whatever. And I have people who come to me, and this happened many times. People will come to me and they'll say, you know what, Liam, you're my last hope. I've tried, let's say habituation. I've tried earpieces. I've tried these companies that charge me $6,000. I've done this, I've done that. I've done head tapping. I've done CBT. I've done, cranial psychotherapy. I've done this and this and this, and nothing has worked. And yours makes sense. And I see the testimonials, and it's better than anyone else's. It is testimonials, and it really makes sense. But I just can't do it. And I say, but you're in pain, right? Yes. Your life is changed horrifically, right? Yes. You want to get better, right? Of course. And I say, so what's the dealio? What's the deal? I never say that to a client one-on-one, by the way, but in the videos I do. I say, well, what's going on? And they say, I'm scared it won't work. And I say, but do you think it will work? They go, yes. And then when I dive into it and I speak to them, They have tinnitus, they've had it for 10 years, it's debilitating, they want it gone, but they know this makes sense and it's probably their last chance at silence, my advice, and they're scared that if it won't work, they're gonna have tinnitus forever. So they don't apply it because they don't wanna know if this isn't gonna work, meaning their tinnitus will be forever. Does that make sense? They'd rather live with their tinnitus and know it's gonna be forever, rather than, and they wanna have this in their back pocket. And they wanna go, well, I don't wanna know if it's not gonna work, so I'm just gonna live with tinnitus. Isn't that interesting? Another thing that people do is they'll, again, similar person, sometimes the same person, they'll find my page, they'll buy my course, they'll do the coaching. Sometimes the coaching is not cheap. They'll join it, and they'll start applying the advice. And after 10 years of doing all this bullshit TRT and these earpieces, and I'm tapping my hand, all this fucking like crap. It's just bullshit shit. Excuse my language, but it's crap. So much of this shit I see that's fucking crap. That's or not. They come to me, they start applying my advice. A month in, their tinnitus starts going down. And they know that if they continue on, and this is what happened with this guy as well, by the way, the first guy I told you about. And they go, well, I know that this works, so I'm gonna keep it there and I'm gonna come back to it later and apply it later and use it later to fix my tinnitus. Isn't that crazy? But I don't judge these people. It's just an interesting thing, and it happens a lot. Well, I know it works, so I'm gonna come back to it later because I wanna have a coffee and I wanna stay up late and I wanna stay under EMF and I wanna have a beer with the boys and I can't be bothered going to the physio and doing my neck, and I can't be bothered doing the fascia, and I couldn't make it. It's like, I know it's there, I'll come back to it later. But I think it's a Spanish proverb or something, maybe it's South African to some extent, South American, sorry. And it is, tomorrow is the busiest day of the year because it doesn't come around. So there's an interesting part of fixing tinnitus about how, our brain can really defeat us and fear can really, keep silence away. I talk about how, eating the wrong things can prevent silence. Not sleeping properly can prevent silence. Using AirPods can prevent silence. Doing almond milk green smoothies can prevent silence. Not fixing your posture can prevent silence. Not getting up. But a huge thing is letting your thoughts control you, because your thoughts aren't really your own. If you ever notice, you have these thoughts that you don't choose to have, and there's like a second brain that's watching those thoughts go along. You're the one who chooses to listen to those thoughts and those beliefs and those feelings and abide by them. Sometimes you have to go against the grain, you have to beat the fear, you have to beat that cyclical panic, and you have to do it anyway, safely, responsibly, ethically, and so on. And it's okay to see a therapist, it's okay to ask me for help. I'm not a therapist, but ask me for advice on tinnitus and so on. So I just wanted to make that video about something I call, I don't know if someone else has coined that term already, but I'll use it. When it comes to specifically tinnitus, cyclical panic. You go around and around and around and around. It's like you got a pathway, right? And you're in a ball, and your aim is to roll as you go, but you're still in neutral, and you're just going around and around and around and around, using all this mental energy. You're stressing yourself out. You're putting all this effort in, but you're not moving. You're still in neutral, just going, just doing burnouts there. So that's my video on cyclical panic. If you need help, go to my Instagram, Liam Stops Tinnitus, send me a message. Click the link, just get my coaching if you want it. I would definitely advise it because, there's nothing like having the first hour call with me. The client speaks for like 45 minutes straight, tells me the whole thing, and I go, I know exactly what to do. Okay, have a nice day, guys. Tinnitus is not for life. Don't let your brain beat you, and have a great day.